What's up, Forrest? It's Andy. We had a pretty big weekend last weekend in college football, probably the biggest one of the season. Lots of big upsets: Oregon, Alabama, Texas A&M, Oklahoma. List goes on. BYU. About some of the matchups we have going on this weekend here in college football. Stanford, they lost to Notre Dame by a touchdown on the last drive of the game. Looks like Stanford had it. Notre Dame came back and won. Ooh, tough loss for Stanford, but now they got Washington State at home. Stanford's got to bounce back tonight against Washington State at home. I think it's going to be a really good game because Washington State, they have a really dynamic offense. They put up a lot of points, and that is a good matchup for the really strong Stanford defense. But I think Stanford's probably by far the much better team, so I have to go with Stanford. The other good game we got going on, we've got Georgia against Missouri. This has a much bigger storyline now that we found out yesterday that their star running back, Todd Gurley, has been suspended indefinitely. That's going to be a huge factor in the game because that was their running game for Georgia. And they're playing on the road against Missouri. I think Missouri has to take every bit of advantage that they can now that Georgia has no big run threat now that Todd Gurley's out. I think they do so, and they win, giving them a leg up in taking the SEC East. Florida State's playing Syracuse this week. Florida State, they should win this game again, but they still haven't proven to me that they are the #1 team in the country. I'm predicting them to take out Syracuse, but you never know. The other big game we got going on is Oklahoma, Texas, the Red River rivalry. It's not as in the big picture as it's been before in the past. These teams are not in the top 10 as we've seen years past. Oklahoma upset last week by TCU. They have to bounce back. They're playing their big rival Texas. I think it's going to be a good game because it's a rivalry game. Rivalry games always bring up a good show, but I'm going with the Sooners to take down Texas. Big game out of the Pac-12. You got Oregon, you have UCLA. Both those teams upset last week. They both need to bounce back and try and get a leg up and taking because whoever loses whoever loses this game, they're going to be they're going to be a game down in trying to take the Pac-12 championship, because whoever wins this game has the better shot at winning the Pac-12, even though it's early in the season. UCLA, Oregon. I have to go with Oregon. Both teams very good, but I have to go with Oregon. Big game out of the Big 12. Big 12 is not the conference it was. You've got TCU and Baylor. Baylor's your pick still your pick to make it to the college football playoff. But TCU, their defense showed up last week, and they took it to Oklahoma. I think they show up this week. I think they upset Baylor. I'm just saying, the Horned Frogs, I think they're on a roll. I'm going with that defense from TCU. All right. You have USC playing Arizona. USC has been kind of on a slump this year, not playing as well as they thought. They've already lost 2 games, and Arizona, probably the hottest team in the Pac-12, taking down Oregon. I think they do it again this week, knocking off USC. Another big game out of the SEC, we have Ole Miss playing Texas A&M. Ole Miss got the upset last week. The upset of all upsets, probably the biggest upset in school history for Ole Miss, taking down Alabama. You called it. I didn't think they could do it, but I did say if they believe they could do it, they can do it. And they did it. They took down Alabama. Justin a test this week against Texas A&M, just as difficult. Just as difficult. They have to stop that very high-powered offense at Texas A&M. Can their defense do it? I'm gonna have to go with Ole Miss. Ole Miss. I think their defense matches up against the A&M offense and wins the game. And the game of the week that was set up from last week. Auburn plowed through LSU much like Mississippi State did. Mississippi State took care of business last week, beat Texas A&M actually fairly easily. The score, doesn't show the kind of game it was because they got some late scores late in the game, but it was pretty much a one-sided game, all Mississippi State. And Mississippi State is at home, which is a huge advantage because Auburn, as we've seen this far this season, they are not a strong road team. They struggled severely against Kansas State. Kansas State missed 3 field goals. If Kansas State had made those 3 field goals, Auburn probably would have lost that game. So I think that's going to be a huge advantage for Mississippi State. But both teams sound on defense, both playing well on defense. But on the same side, their offense are both very explosive. Got dual threat quarterbacks. Got Nick Marshall. You got Dak Prescott. This is going to be a game to the end, much like it was last season. Auburn scored in the last drive of the game, and had they not made that touchdown, Mississippi State would have won that game. So I think Mississippi State, they have a chip on their shoulder in wanting redemption from last year. I think they edge out Auburn just barely. I hate to pick against Auburn, but they're the home team. Mississippi State is, and Auburn's playing on the road. I have to go Mississippi State. So those are my picks this week. Let me know what you think. And hope you enjoy this week in college football.